2025 has been a chaotic year, but for me, I feel like this year has shown a lot of progress with my projects. I have also reflected on the year and the year before, and never actually got around to properly introducing and explaining my persona, or mascot to the channel Stencil Fox. I've roughly covered the fact that I've changed from my old persona Vixie, who is now a protagonist for my webtoons comic The Dawn of Gales, which has been on hiatus for about 2 years now. I had a lot of connections with foxes as my potential fursona for multiple different reasons, but I also have other fursonas that I wasn't expecting to get attached to. But I also have some of these sonas that fall under more of a vent illustration or comfort illustration kind of sona that I have for different reasons. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I have different experiences that I want to express through visual story means, and utilizing the multiple different sonas feels like a way of also having different mediums and forms to express this, reflecting on these ideas. And also the growth of the characters' designs that change over time reflects with me as well. They grow alongside me. The changes that I have made to my main channel mascot and persona reflects in this with the way that I change the hairstyle and colors and shape language of them to better fit, rather than just drawing myself but in a cartoon form. I have more creative liberties when it comes to drawing this cryptid-like creature that has pointy ears, funky 3 little fingers, and a thumb kind of like paws, instead of the way that I could draw them. And that's one of the fun parts about the way that I've utilized what I would consider the Stencil Fox style, the techniques that I've used over the years in how I grew comfortable with digital artwork. Spice the Protogen is one of those sonas that I wasn't expecting to actually have such a connection with, but the way that their mask, the visual visor is, and the way that they can change and emote with the little circles that are around I'm gonna call it around the ear spots, the shoulders, and the hips, I liked that. I liked the visual emojis, essentially, for them. And for a short period of time, I think it was a good year or 2, I had made little animatics and music videos and some animation memes as a connection, a way for me to show some of my emotions through a character. I like doing that a lot better than I do trying to tell someone something. Showing is a lot easier for me than telling. And with this, there was also an extension of multiple different additions to my channel, one being the Void, and their weird spawn from fuzzball, ferret, cat, wolf creature to the current Void wolf creature that they are. The only thing that I really wanted to fix was giving them a proper reference sheet and taking away the creepy third eyeball, because it just didn't feel fitting for what I had in mind. The Void, over the past couple of years, was just meant to be like a literal shadow for my mascot Stencil Fox and me, the way that I would have the whole doubts and negativity personified in a way. I also wanted to incorporate the fact that the Void is not Stencil Fox. It's their own thing that had come from an idea, and I also wanted to explore the idea that what if the Void and Stencil Fox could shapeshift and merge together, kind of like a fusion. And I had trouble with this when it came to the shape language that was non-existent, because I didn't have a properly fleshed out reference sheet that gave me a good silhouette for that shape language of the Void. So therefore, in turn, when I tried to turn my persona into their anthropomorphic form and their feral quadruped form, I had difficulties with what that would even look like. And I wanted to step away from the idea that the Void was just a bigger fox and have them be almost like a wolf. And it's very heavily shown in my latest animation meme that I did. Really like that song. It fit perfectly with the lyrics, and I thought the idea that the Void is always there, lingering, something that you can't get rid of, and I liked that. I liked the fact that the Void was not a problem that needed a solution, but more of just how to work with it than against it. And I wanted to show that this is not going to become a human, and the anthropomorphic form of the Void isn't something that I'm going to do. If I did ever turn what if the Void was an anthropomorphic creature, or a Gijinka or Jijinka human form, it would be more of a fun what if scenario or alternate universe, not anything that would be set for it. Because the void is meant to be this creature, the intimidation of looking into the darkness of, let's say, you turn out the lights and all you see is the glowing pinks and reds and vague outline of purple for their fur. That was what I wanted to encapsulate for this creature. And for the void, I also wasn't sure how on earth they were going to look like from the front, but I wanted that big puff of fur to be like you're standing next to a giant direwolf. And then on the flip side, when I look at the anthropomorphic version of Stencil Fox and the weird quadruped version, it looks weird, incomplete, and also like Stencil Lion or Stencil Cat. The features for the Fursona anthropomorphic form were lacking, and I feel like that is partially due to the fact that I had a weird issue, which was a problem I created for myself that had an easy solution. I didn't want them to be mistaken for Vixie, but I could easily fix that by switching up the shape language. So when I first created that old reference, it was because I didn't want them to be mistaken for Vixie, but instead it took away from the way that I could turn the whole Stencil Fox thing into a consistent shape-shifting element. I wanted the human form to be able to quickly shapeshift into this form, but I had the problem with the whole hair turning into fur aspect, so I wanted to keep the hair the same, but just maybe their ears would shapeshift, and that was a problem, because it just kind of looked like their skin would just poof, now it's fur, and it looked really weird in this cat form, and the fact that their hair and tail was like the same, I didn't know where the whole tail bone was gonna be, because you could braid the old Stencil Fox's Fursona form that was, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was just going on weird autopilot for a while there, and the design shows that weird disconnect. When I tried to create a Fursona the first time with Vixie, it was because I like foxes, and one of the things that I incorporated, which sticks with both my Fursona and Vixie, is the fact that the design shows that they look younger than they actually are, because I can't count how many times I've been carded when I go to buy alcohol. I am old enough to buy it, but people look at me and they're just like, hey, that's a high schooler, or maybe if I'm pushing it, a college person who has just turned 18 or 21. Every time I mention on there that it's like, I'm born from 97, they look at me and they shake their head and they're like, no, and then I show them proof of physical identification and they're like, oh, well, alright. Which is hilarious when I am working and I have to card someone who is younger than me, and I'm like, you can't buy that vape because you're too young, and they're like, I'm older than you, and I shake my head and I'm like, I was born in 97, I am older than you. It's weird. And I wanted to incorporate that with the fact that foxes sometimes are just instantly seen as cute and adorable and small, and I added that with Vixie in, spoiler free for this, with the webtoon comic. She gets mistaken constantly. She's an adult who is training to be a guardian, and she's seen as a kid all the time. I have a joke where she goes into a bar or pub and she's with a chorus, and he wants to get a shandy, which is like an alcohol mixed with some juice, and she wants to get this tropical cider, which cider in the UK is alcoholic. So the bartender's like, you don't have any forms of identification. I can't prove if you're an adult or a kit, as I like to refer to it, since she's an anthropomorphic fox. And I wanted to add some of those elements to my Fursona with Stencil Fox in their form, where I wanted a mini version and a bonus tiny version. I'm actually really happy with the changes that I made to this Fursona. I feel more connected than I've ever been with any of my Fursona designs. Even with Vixie, there were some moments where when I looked at them, I'd never really felt that full connection. I don't know if anyone else who has a Fursona or a Persona has that, where you look at the design, the colors, the shape language, everything, and you're just like, that's me. As much as I love the human sprites that I have, having the anthropomorphic form and even the mini form gives me more room to explore when I have little segments in the beginning, middle, and end of the videos, especially when making fan artwork, where if I'm excited about something, my character for the humanoid form doesn't just have to have sparkles to their eyes. I can have the shapeshifted form into the anthropomorphic one where their ears could be twitching or a little tail wag. I can also add much more expression, and also if sometimes I see an animation meme and I want to do it. It's kind of like art challenges. They're optional, and I get to do them when I want to, and also it gives me more creative freedom in the long run with the different forms. If I'm talking about a show or making fan artwork for something, I can switch between the humanoid, anthropomorphic, and feral canine form for whichever applies best for it. And for 2026, there is so much in store, but this video would take an hour long if I went onto the details of everything that I have in store for next year. So, with that, thank you to both new and returning viewers for watching all the way to the end of today's video. Have a safe and happy new year, and I'll see you next year. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to join the Subscribler Squad to never miss an upload. While you wait for the next upload, check out some of the playlists. If you'd like to see your fan artwork featured in the Subscriblers gallery, tag me in it, as I love getting to see what you guys can create and sharing it to others on the channel. My card link is below, and if you'd like to further support this channel with exclusive Patreon rewards, Fennec Foxes for £2 a month gets you access to all of my work-in-progress sketches. Arctic Foxes for £5 a month gets you access to exclusive Patreon-only content, art videos, and comic pages early. Red Foxes for £10 a month gets your name read out at the end of the videos, just like this. Special thank you to Frankie Jr. 13. Stay possum, Subscribblers.